Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to delve into our Bokashi bucket. It has been sitting now for 4 weeks since I last filled it up and added the last bit of food scraps. So with that, I've been draining it every day or every other day, and the liquid does smell a little bit, but I don't know how the bucket smells, so we're going to really check it out. The first time I did this, the bucket smelled really bad. This time I'm hoping the bucket smells like that kind of sweet vinegar smell, and that way we can add this to my worm bins. If it smells really bad, it's going to have to go outside. I don't want to take a chance of it smelling really bad in here. Now I do have a candle ready to go just in case it smells really bad, but I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. So let's go take a look at the bucket, dump it out, and see how everything looks, and then we can decide what to do with this. I'm probably going to add it to my worm bins. I'm hoping it doesn't smell, but we're going to see. So check around and see. All right, as you can see here, the bucket says October 13th. That's what today is. So we're going to open this up and take a look inside and see how it looks and smells. So there we go. The lid's off. I put on this fresh piece of wax paper. It smells a little bit, but not too bad. There's a lot of white mold in here. I've heard that's perfectly fine and normal. You actually want to see that white mold. It has shrunk down a little bit. It was probably filled, maybe a half inch or so from the surface. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to dump this into our thing right here. Hold on, I'm going to come around to the other side of the camera here. So we're going to take this, I'm going to dump this out. I'm going to bring this over here. And we're going to dump this out right in here. So let me swing this camera over just a little bit. Okay, now hold on. Actually, before I do this, the liquid bucket definitely does smell. I'm going to put the lid on top of that and cover that up. That smells a little bit more strongly than this does. So I'm going to pick this up now. We're going to dump this right in here. Oh, ooh, there's some liquid in here. It definitely has an odor. I got almost everything out of here, as you can see. It definitely does have a slight odor to it. Doesn't smell great. Now, when you're doing this in your house, and then you usually would take it outside and dump it. I'm not doing that because I want to see how this would work in the worm bins. So as you can see here, I've got chicken bones. I have this lobster shell. Ooh. This definitely smells a little bit stronger than I would like. I'm probably going to have to light that candle here in a minute. Some vegetables and stuff that went bad during our time. So this would be much better if it was outside, probably. In fact, I'm going to have to light that candle here in just a minute. So let me do that and I'll come right back. All right, so my candle's lit and the question becomes, what am I going to do with this? So with that, I just want to point out that I have a bucket here that I have done the exact same thing with I did before. I drilled some really large holes in the bottom and I put some newspaper in. And what I'm going to add here is some pellets in the bottom, some of my hardwood food pellets, which I'm going to grab right now. Put a bunch of these in here just to kind of absorb some of the liquid that's going to come out. I'm going to spray these, get these a little damp. Actually, let me move everybody over to the bucket here so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to spray these with my sprayer. Get them a little bit damp. I probably should have done this all before I even opened up the other thing. So I'm going to just do that. That way they have a little bit of water to absorb, since these do absorb water. And then what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take my gloves here. I do not recommend grabbing this with your fingers. This does really have an odor. In fact, I maybe should have even used my my one-time use gloves. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just take handfuls of this and throw it right in here. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to fill this bucket up a good portion of the way here with these food scraps. A huge variety of food scraps at that. As I said, if this was going outside as like a normal Bokashi bucket, this probably would be perfectly fine, the odor, because you'd be burying it in the ground and it would be gone. But in your house or in a worm bin, this is really putrid. I'm going to be honest. Like, I could stand the smell, but it's not it's not filling me with a lot of confidence that the worms are going to just dig into this like crazy, which they probably will, but you know, I just don't know. So and this is a huge variety of materials in here. There are some meats, which some people say don't add, and other people say, oh my gosh, you can have a bin full of meats. Also, it might have been a little better had I ground things up a little bit more. Grab some of this other stuff over here. So as you can tell, that's pretty full. I think I'm going to stop right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to top this off with some pellets, just like I had before. And then I'm going to add some of my some of the worms to the top, and then I'm going to put this inside one of my worm bins. So let me go grab all that stuff here. All right, first part, here's our hardwood pellets. We're going to just sprinkle these on top. And that's going to kind of absorb any moisture that might come out of this, which I'm figuring will happen. And then the other part of this is the worms themselves. All right, so I have a big handful of stuff here. These are worms. There's a little bit of food left in here from this. I want to make sure I get a lot of worms in here. And I just spread this around. This is going to block that smell, I'm hoping, and they'll work their way down through here. So, now, what I want to do is I want to put this in one of my bins, so it's sitting in there. So I'm going to bring that bin over. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pick this up and move this over to the bin. As you can see, I have this bucket sitting in this bin. It's not covered at this time. We've got a worm trying to get out here. What I'm hoping will happen is these worms are going to go up through here. I will probably put a cardboard cover on the top just to hold in any of the moisture in here. I'm hoping this dries out a little bit, or if I have to add moisture, I can with my sprayer. But this is how I'm going to try to get the worms to go in here and consume these materials without it hopefully smelling and stinking up my entire house. So there's a few inches of soil, or I should say it's a cocoa coir with had food mixed into it down in the bottom, and then I have this on top. And we're going to see how well this does. So today is October 13th. That I'm recording this video, and I will do checkups and we'll kind of dig in here and see how they're working on it. There's a lot of worms in this bin. It's to the point that they were escaping because it was overpopulated. So we're going to see how they do in here. So that's the first part of this. Now, for the second part of this, I'm going to move this out of the way. Hopefully not knock over my camera. And we're going to add this to my Vermibag. And I think that the Vermibag can handle this because it's going to be able to dry it out a little bit. And at the same time, there's going to be a lot of material in here. I'm going to load this thing up with material, and I think it's going to air it out, cause it to dry out a little bit, and it's really going to do well. So the first thing I'm going to do here is lift up these cardboard sections that I have all this bedding on. And I'll just let this go here. So as you can see, Vermibag looks pretty ready. I'm going to grab my gloves here again because I don't really want to get this stuff all over myself. Actually, maybe I'll leave that one off for now. All right, so what I want to do is I want to put all this in here. So I'm going to spread this around a little bit, kind of make a small hole. This stuff should be ready for the worms to consume. I mean, this is all well broken down at this point, really. It's changed its structure with this Bokashi composting. So now what I need to do, and actually, I'm going to switch gloves. I'm going to switch gloves here to the other side since I have to lift with this hand to get it in there. All right, here we go. So I've got my glove on. I'm going to lift from this side. Let me bring you guys over here. All right, here we go. We're going to dump this in here. This is a lot of food for them, but I want to get all of this in here. And we're going to cover this up really, really well. So as you can see, it's just a ton in here. I don't know what all this stuff is, but you can tell that there's a lot of food in here. Now, the one problem I am probably going to have in here is fruit flies. They're probably going to go nuts over this. Let me move this out of the way here. So, spread this out a little bit all over the top. So now what I want to do is I really want to cover this well. So I have my paper that I'm going to throw in here. Let me just take off this glove. I'm done mixing this for now. So what I want to do now is grab my paper and throw a ton of paper over top of this. So we're going to fill this entire thing up with paper now. So that's filled with paper. It's dry. So I'm going to spray it down a little bit. Just to kind of get some moisture in here. So I've got my sprayer here. Weigh it down a little bit. And I might have to add some dry paper on top of this too. But for right now, this is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to add, I think, some other layers of cardboard on top of it just to make sure that this is all held down. So as I've done this, I've already noticed the smell starting to dissipate down here, which is good because it was really sort of rank. It's handled. I was able to handle it this time. The last time I did this, I could not even handle breathing in the vicinity of the bokashi. So one more thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add some cardboard on top. So these are some leftover pizza boxes. I'm just going to put these right on top. Oh, actually, you know what? Hold on. Before I do that, there's one more thing I want to put back on here. I'm going to put back the other pizza box that I had on top of here. Just like that. I'm going to just kind of layer these on a little bit. Just the tops, though. Not a full box like I had before. So there we go. This is on there. I might eventually add some more cardboard on top of this, but I need to start cleaning everything out. So I'm going to close this up, and we're going to come back to this in about a week or maybe a couple weeks just to see how it's doing and see how the other one's doing. I'm hoping that the worms work their way into these and it just disappears really quickly. That is my plan. I've seen people, actually, we'll probably come back in like 2 weeks because that's about how long it took for other people when they were doing this outside to really delve into these and have them disappear. So now, that's what we have for today. I'm going to take the camera off here a minute so I can show you where the other one is sitting. So I've got this one here. Let me zoom out. So it's covered. There's our empty thing from all of our scraps. That's the bucket right there with all of the, my gloves just sitting on top. I do need to empty out the liquid. And then right here is our other bucket. So inside this bin, I think I will put a piece of cardboard over top of that or something. And then right here we've got my candle going to try to make it smell a little better down here. So that's my update for this week. We'll see how this goes. And hopefully this works out well. I still think that it might be better to just bury this in the backyard with how it smells. I mean, unless you have your worm bin or a compost pile outside to dump it in, I probably wouldn't do this inside the house. It doesn't smell good enough to just keep inside my house 24/7. So we'll see how this goes. But that's my update for this week. If you want more information on the Vermibag that I'm using, I'll post a link to the video, and you can click on that. And also the bedding that I used some of these hardwood pellets for bedding in this bucket system over here. Let me just scroll back over here. In the bucket, I put hardwood pellets in here to absorb some of that liquid that was in there. So if you want to know more about that, you can also look up some of my videos on that as well. So thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave a comment and ask, because I will always get back to the people asking questions. So thank you very much.